Hello and welcome to another episode of PMVpodcast. This is episode 9, and for this episode I invited Chris Dowding to come in and do whatever he wanted. Chris Dowding is a local musician working in the experimental improvisational end of music. There's quite a good scene for that in Norwich and Norfolk generally. One of the more prominent names associated with it is Laura Cannell. But I think Chris is quite highly underrated. He does a lot of really interesting work. I talked to him a little bit about it in the interview. I feel like we barely touched on it, though, to be honest, because he really does do quite a lot of work. And that's why I gave him a blank invite to come in and do whatever he wanted. And for this session, he decided to bring his project, In My Experience. The music for this is derived from a set of poems that Chris wrote, which he then turned into music by turning the letters into musical notes. He's done this solo. He also talks about, in the interview, how he collaborated to make a comic book based on the music. This session, he's brought a trio. So it's himself, Chris Dowding, playing various things. He's got a couple of keyboards, a speak and spell, a trumpet. They're all going through effects and a mixer. He's got Steve Appleton on guitar going through various effects, and Honor Ash performing spoken word. So you're going to hear that session, then you're going to hear the interview, then I'll do a bit of gig listings, and then there's another piece at the end. They did quite a long session, so I thought I'd break it up. Put the longer piece at the end. You can drift off to sleep just as the podcast finishes. It's very relaxing music. I think you'll enjoy it very much. So, yes, let's get on with it. This was recorded at Catch 21 Studios on October the 31st. This is In My Experience.
Of course I know the truth. The truth is that your skin will jump when I touch it with cold hands. The buddleia will grow even when there is no soil. When I scrunch my eyes closed, I will hear thunder in my temples. The cat will paw at my window to be let in from the rain. You'll be the first thing I think of when I sit down to write. The only way to fix things is to look at them head on. Wherever you go, there you are. And yet, and yet, and yet. The buddleia will grow. Your skin will jump. You'll be the first thing I think of. And yet. This world falls away, and it's into the crystal caves, full of static, fragmentation, and the taste of carpet. Here, everything's funny, everything's profound, nothing's a good enough excuse. I don't know how to save you if you turn away from this. The truth is right here. I saw it, I see it, it's right here. I laugh so hard that I cry, or cry so hard that I laugh. Not sure if it matters which.
So do you guys play together a lot? Are you a consummate group?
This project kind of is an extension of a kind of solo project I've been doing called In My Experience, which kind of came from writing some poems and stuff. But I've had an idea for about at least 5 or 6 years about like extending it to having guitar and spoken word, so yeah, we've been working as a trio about maybe probably a bit less than a year, but maybe a year.
So this is expressly for that project?
Yeah.
Are you doing stuff outside of that, or? I mean, sorry, could you just explain again, so perhaps the idea behind the project?
Yeah. So the project kind of came from writing some short poems. Started maybe 5-6 years ago, kind of writing some short poems, and then I kind of I didn't think they were that good as poems, so I translated them into musical notes using a kind of alphabet system borrowed from a friend. And so I've been doing that for a while, solo, with kind of looping and Ableton and electronics and stuff. And then me and Steve started working on. I kind of knew I wanted to extend it a bit, and I'll probably still do solo and duo, but me and Steve worked a bit on duo, and then rehearsed on us. So
Okay.
but it'll still probably be solo and duo at times in different combinations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
All right. Well, could each of you tell me a little bit about your musical background or your background generally? Should we start this way?
Oh goodness. I do a lot of things. My background is multidisciplinary artist, performer, writer, all sorts of things. So I do make music myself as well sometimes, but I think I met Chris through improvising together, going to the Plank, the Eastern Ear improvising session that happens semi-regularly. I think it's happening regularly still, I think, but we met improvising together, and so in that context I was tap dancing as instrument, so having an amplified tap board and taking that into the space and using that as a percussive element.
Wow, that is multidisciplinary.
Yeah, I do a lot. I do, and I publish poems, and this year I've been doing a lot of spoken word performance as well. Yeah, just on my own. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Steve?
Brilliant. Yeah. So I am also a very complex human being doing loads of things, but musically, I have been a guitarist for an awful long time. I was in a rock band, an industrial rock band back in the 1980s. And that was great. Really enjoyed that.
You gonna name check them?
That band was called Basti. I'm sure you've heard of them. You can buy all the singles on eBay for like 10p or something. We were really good. It was really fun to be young and angry, that's for sure. And then I got a bit older, and in the 90s I was in an electronic dance band called Globo, which was a very great band. You can get all their back catalogue on eBay for 10p. Then I became a kind of improvising kind of jazz guy, because I'm older and more mellow now. And now I am probably the most prolific recording guitarist in the world. I release stuff constantly, and I absolutely love it. I think initially the reason I started working with Chris, because I'm also an illustrator, and we did a couple of books together. One of them was in My Experience. I think that was my first introduction to this project. I would say I think this project is so brilliant, in so much as we can all bring stuff to it. So if we're performing like solo, it's in my experience. If we're performing as a duo, it's in my experience, but different. If it's a trio, it's in my experience, but different.
Yeah. So we also made a 27 page.
I think it is.
27 page digital comic called In My Experience. Yeah, I guess that was the first time we worked together, and there's a little piano piece that goes with it. Yeah.
How did that work? 'Cause how did the comic book work?
Kind of. I think it was while I was in. I was in Shetland. Went to my dad in Shetland while we were doing it. But we basically did we did it over a month, and each day, I think we kind of alternated and did a bit of text each day, like a kind of phrase or a sentence each day, and then at the same time Steve was kind of illustrating, doing images to go along with it.
That's a really lovely process. We kind of mentioned before we started recording how I'm a huge fan of making everything as easy as possible. That idea that you can literally just say, "Oh, let's write a book or a comic together," and you do it. From my experience, that was Chris sending me 2 or 3 lines of text and me drawing, and in 3 or 4 or 5, 10 minutes, whatever, the image that would go with that text. And then knowing that if I didn't send him a couple of lines of text the next day, I'd let the project down. And it's great. It's that kind of, the whole point of sequential stuff is that you do a little bit and then you do a little bit more, and then you look around and you've finished it. It's brilliant. And also, I would say for me, that's very much how I'm approaching the music. It's very much somebody gives me something, and then I kind of respond to it, and then I can hear their response to it, and then hopefully that makes sense and doesn't sound too kind of hippie-ish or something. But I think it's a really efficient way of working. That's the main thing.
Sure. You haven't told us about your musical background yet.
I guess started playing cornet when I was, I think, 6. Played with a brass band, and then I did a music degree at Huddersfield, which was kind of went to by mistake, but found a load of really good stuff by mistake, including the Contemporary Music Festival there, which is really amazing, and did an improvisation module when I was there with someone that I still play in a band with, and that was kind of when I did that improvisation. I'd always listened to a lot of stuff, and I played in a kind of youth big band in Norwich, but that was kind of when I started kind of making my own music, kind of properly, whatever, or I don't know. That was kind of when I composed for a lot of different bands, mostly in Norwich and with some people in London, and I've got a trio called the Moonrise Trio,
Sure. I mean, we can't really list everything you've ever done because you're really prolific as well. As far as I know, you've done a lot of stuff. Would you say all your music is experimental? Is that sort of at the heart of everything you do? Because writing a poem and then converting it to musical notes through an alphabet, that's experimental, and I think everything I've seen you do has had sort of something like that about it that's sort of made it.
I mean, there's definitely almost everything I do has improvisation in it, definitely. I guess with this project, it definitely feels that there's always been a lot of process in it, like so I translate these poems, and then it kind of emerged as kind of from the looping, and then I've also done workshops kind of related to this project, so which is called closed circuits, and that includes elements of kind of circuit bending and field recording and stuff, which I've also included when I perform. And in the trio, in this setup, I use a kind of little circuit keyboard, which you didn't really hear today, but apart from playing it normally, so that there's there's different elements to it. But yeah, I guess I definitely feel there's a lot of process in it, and I guess like an example of that is like that when I don't really feel like I mean I do kind of practice it, but that's the practice is always like process. It's not just I'll practice this and I'll do it the same again. It's like it's always, I know I'm always learning from it when I do that, and there's always new. I think almost always there's kind of new things that come up, and so yeah, it's definitely
sure. Actually, could I poke you a bit more for information about sort of other things you've done, other people you've worked with? Because you've worked with some like nationally, internationally sort of recognised artists. Could you talk about some people you've worked with and things you've done?
I mean, I guess I've kind of worked quite a bit with like the trombonist Annie Whitehead, she lives in Kent, but she works a lot in London. She's done some really amazing stuff with Robert Wyatt, and she's been a session musician for the Spice Girls, which is good.
I am impressed with that, I must admit.
I started going to her work. She did like a world music workshop band in London that I went to. That's kind of when I met her, and then which is also really formative. But yeah, I play in a quartet called Rude 2, which is with kind of electronics and electric bass and effects and stuff. And I also play with her in the Brass Monkeys, which is a 8-piece improvising brass band led by friend Ben Hyam. But yeah, I also do a trio with Corda Lati with the vocalist Brigitte Braha, who's a really amazing London-based vocalist, and a piano player David O'Brien, who used to be in London. So that, I mean, I don't know.
What can you tell me about Sylvia and I? That's one that I saw that I really, really liked. That one.
Yeah, it's a duo with violinist and multi-instrumentalist Sylvia Hallett, and we basically kind of found this thing where we were both using looping pedals, and we kind of develop longer pieces by overlapping loops, basically, but also using other effects and stuff. And she play,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk to some other people now. I could keep talking to you for ages, but there are other people. Why don't you tell me about some of the other stuff you get up to? Is there anything anywhere people can sort of find sort of the stuff you do?
Yeah. Well, so I'm doing a lot of development at the moment. I think I spent a really long time seeing myself as non-musical, which I feel is quite interesting as someone who spends a lot of time in musical contexts, but I would always see myself as a non-musician in the space. But I've been doing work with independently with bringing, I guess, songwriting and my spoken word stuff together in like kind of a more traditional songwriting kind of feel, I guess, than the improvised stuff.
Do you think is there a big difference in your mind between spoken word and written poetry?
It's interesting because when I write poetry, I am almost always writing thinking about how it will sound spoken, because I really like performing poetry. I really like spoken word, and almost always I am writing with the intention of reading that at some point or using it in some kind of spoken sense, even if that's with music or not. And so some of the poems that we've been working with are ones that I've actually previously shared just as poems, as in the written form, but then bringing them into in my experience is a different way of working with them, and they're not the poems that Chris was talking about. So starting from a point of writing a poem and then using that to get turning that into musical notes, and getting the motifs out of it. That they're not the same poems that I'm reading. I have some of them, but I usually I either write something from the title or from or like I guess expanding on what has been written previously, and putting it into, I suppose, my kind of way of phrasing things and bringing the rhythm into it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any current projects going at the moment you'd like to talk about?
So I'm mostly working on I guess my solo performance stuff. So just under Honor Ash or hnr.fyi, which is my Instagram and website and everything.
Okay.
Lots of mix of spoken word and songwriting.
Okay.
I also have a improvised noise project where I perform under Snails in Joyland, and there is an EP on streaming of 3 different improvisations. I do about one a year generally, live, and it's me and a multi-effects pedal board and usually one input. So I've previously the first one I think was a stylophone. The second one I had a wire brush with a contact mic inside it that was made by Michael Ridge, and I also had a cassette of, so my nana recorded a lot of church services around Norwich and Norfolk in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and I made a cassette of all of the coughs and footsteps of people walking around. So I had that playing, and then I had the wire brush put through the effects pedal, and then the third one was Radio 4. So that exists under Snails in Joyland.
Cool. Sounds cool.
Thank you.
Is it on Bandcamp? Is it on Bandcamp?
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's on streaming. It's on Bandcamp. It's.
Do you have any current projects apart from this? That
well, I certainly do. There's 2 things that I think are insanely interesting. Firstly, if you look for Steve Appleton on any of your favourite streaming software, you'll find an insane amount of work. I think I've released nearly 300 albums now since 2018. That's my solo work. Yeah, I know. And the brilliant thing is they're all fantastic. Possibly more excitingly, Globo, the electronic dance band I mentioned from the 90s, have just reformed. That's so funny. I love the idea of working with people, because I think what you get from other people forces you to be a different person, if that makes sense. So as a solo artist, I don't want to oversell it. I'm brilliant. If you listen to the first one, you pretty much listen to them all. You know what I'm saying. As a solo artist, I'm me. But if I'm working with these 2 people, I'm very different to me. It's been really interesting taking myself and playing with people who I kind of was last writing music with in the 90s. Very kind of dancey, very exciting, very upbeat.
Well, all the 90s bands are coming back now.
Oh, no, absolutely. So I'm nearly 60, and you can't look at any kind of, I was going to say magazine, but really I should say any online publication. I'm so old. You can't look at anything without seeing kind of the people who were my contemporaries, because we were very active on the circuit. We played with loads of people. And yet everybody's coming back, and I think that's marvellous. I think it's partly marvellous because we were genuinely really good. I think it's partly marvellous because we're in this period now when kind of time almost doesn't matter. I really remember a few years ago, my youngest son was telling me excitedly how brilliant Bob Dylan was, and it would blow my mind because he didn't know that Bob Dylan was from like 1 billion years ago, and of course I knew what he was talking about. Now I'm talking to my granddaughter, who's 6, and she doesn't know anything about time, and she doesn't care. It doesn't matter whether something's current or something's really kind of old. If she likes it, she likes it. It's really, all I'm saying is it's really interesting for me as an old bloke thinking about dance music again. Creak, creak, creak.
Okay. Well, Chris, where can people find your work if they want to?
Okay.
hunt
Yeah.
it
So
down?
the exciting thing about this trio or this project is that we're just going to start a subscription on Bandcamp, like an ongoing one. I've done a couple of like short-term subscriptions, but this one will probably be kind of ongoing. And like for me, it's kind of I guess I've had an idea for quite a while about doing a kind of quite like to maybe do a, if it worked out, like a live album of this project in maybe in different combinations and whatever that might be. And so the subscription is partly a kind of place to collect some recordings and it's I think it's going to be kind of £10 a year. Gonna share we've already got some recordings. We're going to share kind of home recordings and live recordings, and if you sign up you get a copy of the IME comic release, which is the digital comic that we made, and with the piano track, a little piano piece that goes with it, and that's at inmyexperience.bandcamp.com.
Do you have a central hub for all your music?
I've got a website that's like chris-dowding.co.uk, which has kind of some of the different projects to do. Yeah,
Great. I recommend everybody go check that out, because honestly I think if anybody ever asks me about the Norwich music scene, you're one of the names that pops right to the top of my head. Out of all the hundreds of people I know, I think you're fantastic and hugely underrated and doing amazing work here in Norwich and beyond. Does anyone else have anything else to say?
No, other than
Great.
it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
There you go. I hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it. Do check out Chris Dowding's website, chris-dowding.co.uk, to check out some of his other projects and the In My Experience Bandcamp subscription thing he was talking about there. That should be live by now. So go subscribe to that and support Chris in his musical endeavours. And stay tuned. I'm going to do the gig listings now, but there's going to be more music after that. So stay tuned for that. But first, here we go. This is the gig listings. Gig listings. So on the 8th of December, Lone Mesa at Last Pub Standing with support from Joe Riordan. That's free entry. Lone Mesa are really cool. Go check that out. On the 10th of December, Chest are playing at Voodoo Daddies with support from Seasons, The All Tomorrows and Narcolepsy. That's £5 advance, £7 on the door. And on the 14th, Pleasure Inc. are playing at the Waterfront. It's their big off Christmas party with support from Floral Image. Pleasure Inc. and Floral Image are worth the ticket price alone for them, but they've also got support from Celine Dion and Arthur Black. That's £12 entry, and that's all the gig listings I'm going to do for now, because I'm banging the episodes out at the moment, so there'll be another one out pretty soon, so I will pick up the gig listings there. Okay, thank you for listening. If you want to contact me, you can email Ryan at ideolog@hotmail.co.uk. I'm going to leave you now with some more In My Experience.
molding to any shape. Ridges of a coin pressed into fat. The impression it leaves. Perched on a rooftop, arms braced against wind, hair prickling upwards as dark clouds loom. Cushioned surface. Just the right amount of give. Energy dissipated safely. Precious cargo unharmed. Folded paper passed under tables, carrying your heart in its soft creases, pressed permanent by sweat, hidden from view. The impression it leaves. Just the right amount of give. My foot is planted, but the ground moves. Give me a second to remember that I don't know my edges anymore, and I bleed into everything I touch. But isn't that true? Myself is you in the right light. I am every beam of sun and every cloud in the sky. I am every late night bonfire, every marshmallow, every stick. I am every speed camera, every road closed sign. I am every spring meadow and every grazing cow. I am every hello, every see you soon, every good riddance. I am every absolved heart.